Delicio from Solo Mode Games. Today, I'm doing a solo playthrough of the cooperative deduction game, Rising 5 Runes of Asteros. And that's not a genre that you typically see, at least not that I'm terribly familiar with. Deduction games are usually games that involve a number of people kind of competitively trying to figure something out or trying to maybe trick other people into thinking something than what maybe is the truth. But this is a game where you're either working by yourself or with others to try to deduce the correct type and placement of a number of different runes. There are 7 different types of runes, and you're trying to find the correct 4 in the exact correct placement to be able to seal a gate to keep some nasty aliens from attacking your planet. So it's a pretty interesting mechanism. It has an app that you can use to kind of help you set the puzzle up and to generate a random puzzle among those 7 runes. And you'll see how that works as we go to the table. So why don't we go ahead and head over right now. Okay, here we have the solo setup for Rising 5 Runes of Asteros, a cooperative deduction mechanic game, which is something that I'm not sure that I'm familiar with anything else other than this one with those particular mechanics where you've got a cooperative deduction game quite in this way. I'm sure there are others, but this one definitely has a bit of a unique feel. So a couple of things I wanted to point out right at the beginning is that this is actually the collector's edition of the game. It's a Kickstarter edition. And so there are a couple of things that are different than you are going to find with the retail edition. But I deliberately chose to not add anything mechanically that is part of the expansion. Nothing in this actually mechanically is different than what's going to happen in the retail game. The differences that I will note, just for disclosure, is this top board really, right now I've got it up there, this little top board here. I've got it just because it adds to the nice panorama of the art. Right now it's not functionally serving any purpose. There is a way to use it in a functional way as kind of a little mini expansion. I'm not going to do that, but I have it up there because I think it looks nice with the rest of the board. This little sideboard here is also something that is not in the retail edition of the game. And while it's certainly nice because it's functional in that it keeps a nice place for everything, it's not anything that changes the game at all in any way whatsoever. The other main difference that you'll notice between this version and the retail version is that this version has these lovely miniatures, and the base edition is going to come with standees. Okay, again, functionally works exactly the same, but I did want to point out some of the little differences that you're going to notice. Okay, now as far as the solitaire mode of this game, it's one of the things that's really intriguing to me about this particular co-op game, and what I think makes it so well suited to solitaire play, is that while there are 5 different characters, and you can see them right here from left to right, we've got Oracle, Hal, Ellie, Nova, and Echo. While there are 5 different characters, no matter how many people are playing, whether it's 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5, on your turn, you can control any of the characters. So there's no one character that is specifically assigned to you. And that, like I said, really makes this well suited for a solitaire game. The only difference is that the hand size is 6, which is also actually what it is for, I believe, even a 2 or maybe even a 3-player game. I'd have to look that up. But the main difference is that over here you've got what's called your supply cards. And in the multiplayer cooperative version of this game, when you go to try to defeat a monster, and right now we have 3 monsters on the board, when you go to defeat a monster, you can ask somebody to help you. I believe they call it powering up. I can look here. Teaming up, actually. No, powering up. And obviously in a solo game, you're the only one with cards. So you have these 6 face-up cards that you could use to help you power up if you would like to do so. And I'll explain that as the game goes on, because it's very likely that I will be using some of these support cards to power up. So What's the goal of the game? The goal of the game is to find the correct pattern and types of runes, the runes of Asteros, to have them in the correct runes in the correct order here, placement, and then to close the gate to keep all of these monsters from coming to the planet and restore peace. And so at the setup, there are 7 runes, and you can see the different runes all here along the side. I turned them face down and just randomly chose 4, and then the remaining 3 go here. I have no idea if these runes are either the correct runes or in the right place. We're going to find that out in a moment. The last thing to note on setup is that these 2 cards at each of the 3 locations are the starting cards. These are going to be the same 6 cards that are at these locations every game at the beginning. Everything else is shuffled in these different decks. Generally speaking, these cards in Region 1 are a little bit easier to manage than the cards in Region 2 or in Region 3, but as you might expect, the rewards are better for the more difficult cards. Over here we have some relics and some artifacts. I will explain what they are and how they come into play in a moment. Okay, the ways we can lose. There are 2 ways that we can lose. We can lose if this sun ever gets down to the bottom of this track. It starts here, 3rd from the top. That's one way that we can lose. Another way we can lose is if this character deck runs out at the end of someone's turn, or it might be at the beginning of a turn. I can double check that if we get close to that. But running out of cards is not good. Going down to the blazing red sun is not good. The only way we win is by getting the runes in the correct configuration and being able to use one of our actions once they're there to close the gate. That's how we win. This game is one that is app enabled. It has an app that allows you to set this configuration. And if you're familiar with the game Mastermind at all, the old game Mastermind, this kind of has that mechanic as its central mechanic. And you'll see how that goes in just a minute. Really quickly, the turn structure is such that you have 1 of 3 possible actions that you can take on your turn. You have to perform 1 or more or pass, and then you have to draw at least 1 card from the character deck. You can draw more, but you do have to respect the hand limit of 6. All right? I will explain briefly what the actions are. The actions are moving. You can move to any one of the 6 spots here. You have 2 here, 2 here, and 2 here. You can encounter, which is going to be the meat of what you're doing when you play cards to have an encounter or roll the dice if you're trying to attack monsters. And then you can also seal the gate. The only way you can seal the gate is when you get all 4 silk cubes on here. You can attempt to find out if the runes are in the correct place and potentially seal the gate if you're in good shape. All right. So, as always, you'll probably learn more by just watching me play. So, with that being said, let's go ahead and get started with Rising 5, Runes of Asteros. Okay, here we go. So, let's see how this works out. I'm not sure if we're going to have an issue with the phone, but I'm going to start up the Rising 5 app. It's a free app, as you might expect. I actually have the sound off. There is some nice atmospheric sounds that you can add, but I'm going to forego that since I'm going to be yapping. You can see there's a rule book here, a tutorial, but we're going to go right to game start. All right. Tells you when you've got all your preparations done, we start a game. And it's got some nice kind of flavor here that you can actually kind of see that. Just to kind of immerse you a bit in the story, I suppose. It's got character profiles and things along those lines. It's a pretty nice presentation on the app. And there you go. There's the 7 runes, of which you've got to find the correct 4. All right. And now we're going to, let's see here, we want, there we go. You line up. Okay, it's taking a picture. I don't know if it really was kind of off camera. But what it does now is it's going to tell you some information about the 4 runes that are currently there. These 2 that are kind of dark, black like that, means that those runes are not part of this code. So I know right now that 2 of those 4 runes are incorrect. They don't belong there. Now you've got these 2, what they call shining. Yeah, I think you can kind of see that there. Shining symbols. And what the shining symbols mean is that they're the right code, but the runes are correct, but they're not in the right position. So the information that I have now is that of those 4 starting runes, 2 of them are correct but in the wrong spot, and 2 of them don't belong there at all. Okay? And so now we continue on with the game. All right, so your actions are going to be determined by the cards you have in hand. To control a particular character, you are going to state how many actions you're going to take, and you're going to discard that many number of cards. So, for example, I have the option right now, based on my starting hand of cards here, I could take 1 action with Ellie, 1 action with Hal, 2 actions with Nova, or 2 actions with Echo. And once you've determined, and you have to state how many you're going to take. Now, in a solo game, you don't necessarily have to, but if you're playing multiplayer, cooperative, you're still going to be saying, okay, I'm going to take 2 Nova actions. So I'll probably do the same just as I'm going through the game. And once you've determined that, you can then take a special action if you choose that is related to each character. So I will explain those as we go, because what I'm going to do first is I'm going to take 2 Nova actions, all right? 2 Nova actions. So I take my 2 Nova cards, I put them in the discard right up here, and now, before I do anything else, but after I've discarded, I can do Nova's special action. Nova's special action is she can pick any monster out on the board and roll the die, and if she's able to defeat that monster, it gets taken care of and you get the corresponding reward. So that's a really nice power that she's got, and if you don't defeat it, then you don't have to worry about it. It's just ignored. All right, so let's go ahead and go for this monster here. Now, you can see that this monster has a strength of 1. All right, the way these cards work is that they've got a value here, which is what it's going to take to defeat that monster, a reward if you defeat it, and a number of red suns that'll come into play at a certain point in the game that I'll show you here. So this only needs a 1 to be defeated, this particular monster, which is pretty manageable. We roll this dice to do so, this die, excuse me, and the values on the die, we have 2 1s, a 2, a 3, a 4, and an eclipse sign. An eclipse is an automatic loss no matter what. So right now, anything I roll but an eclipse, and we're in good shape. And I rolled a 3, although it was toying with the eclipse. So this monster is defeated. I go ahead and put it in a discard pile over here, and my reward is to take one of these silk cubes and put it on that pillar. So I'm 1/4 of the way to being able to check what I've got going on there. Now, I still have 2 actions with Nova. That was just her special ability. So I think what I want to do is move for one of those 2 actions and then encounter this card for a second action. This particular card is one where I don't have to do anything. I just claim the reward, which in this case is a clue. Okay, so basically I'm going to be getting a clue about one of those 4 runes. My hope is that I can find out which one of these is a viable rune or not. So pick up the phone and I click that little question mark, which is the rune, or excuse me, the clue symbol. So now I pick any one of the 7 runes, and it's going to give me a clue about that rune. It's going to tell me if it's a valid rune, if it's in the right place, or any of those things. So let's go ahead and just pick this dark blue. It looks like an H. So I'll click that. It asks you, do you want to check the sign of this rune? I will say yes. Okay, so I know now that that is a That's one of the, I believe, dark runes. Yeah, that's a dark rune. So that one is incorrect. I know now that I've got to get that blue rune out of there. It's not one that we need. So to tell myself that, I can get a little corresponding chip there and put it next to that blue rune, and now I know I've got to get that rune out of there. It's not the right one. It does us no good. Okay, so that was the 2 actions for Nova. So now what we're going to do is refill these. All right. And draw back. Now, I've got 4 cards in hand. I can draw back up to 6, or I can just draw 1. You have to draw at least 1 card. Why would you not want to draw back up? Well, because you don't want to burn through that deck too quickly. So I'll go ahead and I'll draw 2, but you draw them 1 at a time, because if these red suns come up, there's 3 red sun cards in this deck. There are 5 that come with the game, and it's a difficulty setting during setup. You can go from 3 to 5 cards, 3 being beginner, 4 being, I guess, normal, and 5 being difficult. I very much went with beginner. I have still not won this game, so we'll see how we go. So I'll do 2 at a time. All right, I got another Echo, so I've got 3 of those, and another Ellie. Okay, so back up to 6 cards. I have another turn to go, so I can activate any one of these characters. Well, let's see here. I think what I might do is, I'm thinking about doing Echo. Echo will let you move any other character to any location. You can't move Echo somewhere. But let's see. Let's go ahead and yeah, we'll use 2 Echo actions. Okay, I'm going to use 2 Echo actions. Oops, so I'm going to discard 2 Echo cards. And now I can use his ability if I like. I can move any of these other characters anywhere I want on the board. I'm thinking what I might want to do is, I'm probably going to want to activate Ellie next turn. So let's move her here. She can just pick up an artifact for free, and those are always nice, powerful cards. All right, so I've used his special action, and now I've got 2 Echo abilities. I'm going to move him to this spot for 1 action, and I'm going to encounter that monster for a 2nd action. Now, I can just go ahead and roll the die, and anything but an Eclipse will do me just fine. If I wanted to use support cards, I could do that. Now, in this case, it would not really make a whole heck of a lot of sense. Actually, it makes no sense, but let's say this monster had a 3 or a 4 on it. That's where these support cards come in. You can turn in any corresponding character cards as a +1. So if I wanted to spend this Echo card here, I can add a +1 to my die roll, which again, in this case, makes no sense. So I'm certainly not going to do that. But let's see what I get. And I got a 2. So this monster was defeated without much of an issue. I go ahead and get my reward, which is a 2nd green cube. Okay. Now I fill up cards. Again, I could take any 1 or 2. I think early on, I'll go ahead, I'll just take 1 for now. I'll just take 1. And I got an Oracle card, and Oracle is in many ways the most powerful character because of its special ability. I say it's, I'm not sure, Oracle, male, female, not sure. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and refill right here. And see, this is a boss monster. This one has not only a very difficult number, but when you defeat it, you can get a relic as a reward. So high risk, but high reward as well. Okay, so let's take a look at our next action, or our next activation, I should say. Okay, so now that I had already moved Ellie using Echo's ability, knowing that I wanted to activate her. So I'm going to activate Ellie with 1 action, so I'll go ahead and discard that. I'm going to use her special ability, which in this case, in her case, is to move the sun 1 further away from the danger zone, so that's always nice. And for her 1 activation, I'm just going to go ahead and do an encounter, which this one I don't have to resolve anything. I just get a artifact card. So let's flip that over. All right, this is, I know there's a name for it in the rule book, but I'm not going to search it out. Basically, I'll call it a potion, and it allows you to re-roll the combat die, and it's a one-time use, and it can be used by any character. You just go ahead and use it whenever you feel that it's a appropriate time. All right, so that was Ellie's action, and now I draw cards. I'll go ahead and draw. I'm going to draw 2, I think. I'm hoping to get another Oracle, so there's one more Hal, and there's another Oracle. Okay, and now I'll refill Region 3 here. Oof. Well, these are supposed to be tougher. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to activate Oracle. All right. Oracle, as I said, is a very powerful character because of its ability. I'm going to activate Oracle once. All right. So I discard that. And that's going to be a movement, obviously. But Oracle's special ability is rearranging runes. And that's the only way you can move runes. All right? So, what I know, the only thing I know really, for any surety, is that this rune doesn't belong there. So I'm going to take this off the board, and I'm going to exchange it with, let's go with this purple rune. All right? And so now next time I try to close the gate, I can determine is this a valid rune, and if so, is it in the right place, that type of a thing. Okay, so that was the one action there. I'm going to refill. I can only refill one card, and I got another Hal. Lots of Hals happening here. Okay, let's go ahead and activate Hal twice. All right, so I'll spend 2. Hal's special ability is he can copy the ability of the special ability of a character at its location. So I think what I'm going to do is, boy, I really probably didn't play that great. I was supposed to move Oracle. Sorry, I was supposed to move Oracle just so that I can use its ability. So let's move Oracle here. Okay. So now, because that was what I was getting ready to say, is I'd love to be able to use his ability. And the starting position doesn't count. I can't copy Oracle's ability when at the starting position. So now 2 actions. I'm going to move Hal here. So maybe on the next turn, if I want to activate him again, I can copy Oracle's ability and swap out. But I'm going to go ahead and resolve this encounter, which is I can either get a Silk Cube or move the sun up. I'm going to go ahead and get a Silk Cube. All right. So now I'm 3/4 of the way to checking again for what I've got here. Okay. All right. Now I've got to draw back up. I can draw up to 2. Let's go ahead and draw 1 right now. I got another Oracle. That's good. That's good. All right. I don't really want to use Oracle just yet because I'd like to, well, yeah. Ooh. Yeah, see, it's dangerous to move anything until I get a little more information. But what I might do, I will. I'm going to utilize Oracle. So I'm going to spend 1. I'm going to use 1 Oracle action. I know that 2 of these are in the wrong spot, but are correct. So now what I think I'm going to do is just swap these out. I'll change their positions. I'll move this here, and I'll move this here. And this should get me some more information when I close the gate, which is going to be my next turn, I believe. All right, so I go ahead and resolve that, which is going to give me my 4th cube right there. Okay, I should have refilled that, sorry. So now I'm going to do that. Oof, that's pretty rough. And that's pretty rough. Got some monsters on the board, which these more difficult monsters, as you're going to see, I don't want them just sitting here on the board, because if I get a red sun card right now, I'm going to total up all of the number of red suns and move this down accordingly. So right now, I'm at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I lose right now if a red sun card comes out. Okay? We're going to find out. Thankfully, I don't. And so now, I honestly think that I need to defeat some of these monsters before I think about sealing gates, because I'm in trouble otherwise. I am in big trouble otherwise. So let's see. I've got one Echo here. That's a 5. I do have a reroll if I need it. I've got Ellie here, but I'd like to get rid of this one because it's a 2-sun monster, and I don't want to use Oracle special ability right now. So what I'm going to do is, do I use Echo? I think I will. I'll go ahead and I'll use Echo. I'm not going to trigger his ability because I don't think I want to move anybody right now. So I'm going to use one Echo action, and I'm going to try to encounter this nasty beast. And I am going to power up here, or partner up. I can't remember the terminology. I'm going to spend... Oh, you know what? I lied. I am going to use Echo's ability. I'll move... Let's move Ellie over here, because partnering up is whenever you have somebody at your location and you are encountering a monster, you get a +1 no matter what, just right off the bat. So this is going to help my chances. So Echo used his abilities. I'm going to use my partnering up here, I believe it's called, to add another. So right now, I'm at a base of 2. One for Ellie being there, a second one for doing my partnering up there. And so now I've got to roll a 3 or a 4 on this die to be successful, and I've got one reroll. All right, here we go. 1. No, that doesn't work. So let's go ahead and use that artifact, and let's hope for the best. 3 or 4, and a 2. Couldn't pull it off. All right, well, that's a shame. So I'm going to have to refill that as well. So I'm in a very, very difficult position here because I'm going to have to draw 2 cards. Here we go. I've got an Ellie, and if this is a red sun, okay. I made it one more turn, so I really need to make something happen here. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to activate Ellie with 2 of her abilities, or 2 of her cards. So I'm going to activate Ellie twice. Discard those. Her special ability, move the sun up. I'm going to have a +1 here, and I'm going to partner up here and hope I can get... I only have one shot. I only have one shot here because of the... I spent my artifact already, so I've got to roll a... Let's see, I've already had a 3. Oh, so I actually needed a 2 or better. Did I do that wrong last time? I had 1, 2, 3, and I think I rolled a 2. I may have been okay there. You know, I believe I botched that last turn, but since I'm not sure of it, I just made my life harder, and I'm gonna assume that because I've got 1 here. Oh no, 1 here, 2 for the card. So yes, I do have to roll a 3. All right, so 1 here, 2 there, and I do have to roll 3 or better. So, and I sure didn't. My die rolling abilities are in typical fashion horrendous. Now, I have another turn or another action. I could try it again, but in this case, I would need to get that 4. I'd have a 1 in 6 chance of success, which is not terribly good. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I would still be alive. I'm going to try it one more time. And I rolled Eclipse. No good. All right, so I'm only going to draw 1 card for myself. And I got another Ellie, and I have to draw 1 to refill that, and it's a Hal. All right, well, somehow I've been able... I think I need to start doing some other things here, because this so far is not working terrifically for me. I can only take 1 action, and I think I might go ahead and do... Well, that's a waste if I do Hal. Oracle doesn't do me a lot of good. I can swap things, but I don't know that I want to until I find out more information here. So let me think. What do I want to do with this turn? Thinking what I might do is activate Nova, because she's going to allow me to pick one of these monsters for free to try to destroy, and I'll be able to, for free, get an artifact. And I believe there's an artifact card in here that lets you just kill a monster. So any monster on the board other than a boss monster, I believe. So I could get lucky and draw that. So let's go ahead and activate Nova for 1. I'm going to go ahead and choose let's just choose this one monster because it's only got 1 sun, and this one that has 4 is also just 1 sun. So let's roll that. I did get a 1. So that goes away, which is good. And now I'll take her 1 action, which is to get her encounter action. Go ahead and take that encounter card or artifact card, and I got a free clue. That's good. I got a free clue. All right. So now it's end of turn. We're gonna refill these. We've got a 2 monster with more suns. It's not terrific. So now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and that might put me out of the game as well. And honestly, it's looking pretty well. Actually, if the red sun comes up now, I will get 1 more turn to deal with some of these. So it's not great, but not quite dire yet. So I'm going to draw 1 card, and it's still not the red sun. I really lucked out there. Okay. Boy, I really need to clear some of these monsters off, but I also need to kind of check this gate. I'm going to check the gate because my hope is that with on my next turn, if the red sun does come up here, I could use Nova's ability to take out 2 of these and just hope that 2 more don't come out. But that is taking a big chance there. So let's see here. I'm going to close a gate, and I'm going to use Hal. Let's use Hal to close the gate. Okay? 1 action. Here we go. We're going to attempt to close the gate here, and to do that, you get the phone. I should actually have been. You can do this. You can kind of tap on there, and now it shows you that arrow. I don't know if you can quite see it on the phone. You get a little arrow telling you you can swipe down. All right, and now we're checking the board again. All right, snapped a picture. Let's see what we got. Okay, well, not great. I've got 2 that are wrong, 2 that are in the wrong spot. So let's see here. I can now look back at what had already happened before. 2 were in the wrong spot before. The one that I put out, the new one that I put out was the purple one, and that's got to be the spider, and that's got to be wrong. So I can move the spider on the wrong spider onto the purple because I know that that's incorrect. The snake and the whatever that is, beetle maybe, those are still in the wrong spot. So purple is wrong. Okay. So it looks like I just swapped these 2. So these are still in the wrong spot. So they may be up there or down there. So, okay. Well, here we go. I've got a little bit more information. And I have to draw a card. I'm going to draw 1, and it's Oracle. All right, so I think I might... These have to go away, by the way. Let's go ahead and let's activate Nova once, okay? So I'm going to take 1 Nova action. I'm going to use her special ability. I'm going to try to defeat... let's try to defeat this monster. I got a 1. I did not, unfortunately. And now, for her action, I'm going to try to defeat this monster. And I did. I got a 4. There's the 4 I needed earlier. I put a cube on there because that's the reward. And now I am going to refill. I'm going to still just refill the one because I know a red sun card has got to be coming up here soon. All right, and there it is. So for the red sun, you go ahead and you place it at the top of the deck, and it basically immediately stops drawing cards. Your turn is over, the next player takes their turn, and then after that player, which again is me, finishes their actions, the red sun crisis begins, and we have to total up all the suns. All right, so I still have to refill this. And I'm in a whole heap of trouble. This is dire at best. It's dire because I've got so many red suns out at this point. I don't know if there's a way for me to survive it with what I've got left. Yeah, just not looking good. I think my best bet, I've got 2. But I don't have a Nova card that I can activate, so that does me no good. It's got to be either Oracle or Ellie. And so at this point, it's probably going to be Ellie. I'm going to be wasting her special ability. But I have no Ellie cards here. Oh, rough. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I've got to take out a 2-sun monster. That's my only hope. That is my only hope. Okay. Was my best chance to take out a 2-sun monster. It's going to be... Is it Ellie? Because I've got 1 card here. I'd get +1 with Ellie there. I'd get +1 with Oracle there. So either way I go, I'm only getting I have to roll a 4 regardless. Although I'd have a plus. Yeah, I'd still only have a +1 here because I'd get his +1, but I have no power-up cards over there. So really, this is just this is going to be I'll have to be very lucky. So let's go ahead and I will activate Ellie once. I'll put this under the red sun card just to keep reminding me that I've got that imminent disaster getting ready to hit me. I can't spend. I have no Ellie cards there to spend. So just to double check myself, I think that's my only hope. Yeah. That is a shame. Okay, let's roll. If I get a 4, I'm good. Otherwise, the game is over. And it's a 3. So 3 + 1 is 4. That's not going to cut it. I have no special cards or anything that I can play at this point, so that stays on the board. Now, the Red Sun Crisis, or Red Moon, I'm sorry, it's a moon. I've been saying sun this whole time. The Red Moon Crisis is going to take effect. We add up the suns. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and that's gonna do it. So, not a great, not a great job by me by any means. Let's just take a quick look and see if I look up here. I know that these 2 are correct, but in the wrong spot. These 2 are wrong. So these 2 are just not even the correct runes, but let's just see what happens if I were to put this here and this here, and I'm just going to take a stab in the dark here. I know that one was wrong, and so orange and blue I know are going to, I believe should be, or light blue I should say. Let's put those there. Let's see what would have happened. Just for fun, right? Okay. Now we're going to take a look. Let's see what we end up with. Well, okay, so we ended up with 2 runes in the right, 2 correct runes in the right spot, 1 correct rune in the wrong spot, and 1 incorrect rune. So I had made some kind of deductive error. What else is new? So you can kind of get an idea of how the deduction works when played by somebody with any skill, which is not me. So there you have Rising 5, Runes of Asteros. This is a really, really unique game that especially, I think, played more skillfully than I played here, although I did have some pretty unfortunate die roll. But I really just got overrun with monsters on the board here, and that I got some bosses out early that really caused me problems. I mean, I have 3 boss monsters out on the board, and that's certainly tough to navigate and negotiate. So there you have it. Hopefully you got a pretty good idea on how the game is played. You certainly got an idea on how to lose, and lose pretty quickly. So hopefully you enjoyed. As always, I thank you so much for your time, and have a great day.